After 63 days, India reports less than 1 lakh daily cases with 86,000 new infections. Daily positivity rate reduces to 4.62%. 23 crore 61 lakh doses administered so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced his centre's decision to provide free vaccines to states to inoculate all Indian citizens above 18. States ease restrictions. A second wave weakens. Rajasthan to start unlock process from today. Markets and shops to remain open till 4 p.m. Weekend curfew still in force. Kerala eases restrictions with extension of partial lockdown till 16 June. Punjab also allows shops to reopen. Private offices to function with 50% staff. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to meet Prime Minister Modi today. Financial assistance for cyclone relief and Maratha reservation issues likely to be discussed. Deputy CM Ajit Pawar and Head of Maratha Reservation Subcommittee Ashok Chavan also to be present. Centre issues SOPs for vaccination of persons undertaking international travel for education, employment or as part of India's contingent for Tokyo Olympic Games. COVID certificates to be linked to passports of travellers. Mali strongman Colonel Assimi Goita sworn in as transitional president of the country following his second coup in less than a year. Promises government will uphold all commitments and pledges to stage credible, fair and transparent elections. Appoints political veteran Chokwel Maiga as transitional Prime Minister. BCCI announces team for one day in T20 series against Sri Lanka. T20 series to start from 21st July. Rahul Dravid to be coach for Indian team. In the French Open fourth seed and last year's runners-up, Sofia Kenin knocked out by Greece's Maria Sakkari in straight sets. In the men's singles, Djokovic survives major scare against teenager Lorenzo Musetti to reach 15th French Open quarter-final. Nadal cruises swiftly into the quarters. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma. In our top story, India continues to witness a decline in new daily COVID cases, as we registered less than 1 lakh daily new cases after nearly 63 days. New cases reported in the last 24 hours stand at 86,498, which is the lowest in 66 days. Our active caseload has further declined to 13,03,702. Active cases have decreased by 97,907 in the past 24 hours. The recoveries continue to outnumber daily new cases for the 26th consecutive day. In 24 hours, 1,82,282 patients have recovered in the past 24 hours. As many as 2,73,41,462 patients recovered across the country. The recovery rate increases to 94.29%. Weekly positivity rate currently stands at 5.94%. The daily positivity rate stands at 4.62%, which is less than 10% for 15 consecutive days. Under the nationwide vaccination drive, we continue to inoculate our population against COVID-19. Prime Minister, in his address to the nation on Monday, said that the Government of India will provide free vaccines to all citizens above 18. He also said the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana will be extended till Deepavali. So far, more than 23 crore 61 lakh 98,000 doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country, of which more than 18 crore 95 lakh 95,000 have received their first dose, while 4 crore 66 lakh 2,000 have received both the doses. In the past 24 hours, over 33 lakh 64,000 vaccine doses have been administered. More than 30 lakh 38,000 received their first dose of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, while over 3 lakh 26,000 have received their second dose. Meanwhile, testing for COVID-19 has substantially been ramped up across the country. According to the ICMR, 18,73,485 samples were tested for COVID-19 yesterday. A total of 36,82,07,596 samples have been tested in the country till yesterday. In Rajasthan, the process of unlocking has already begun. Shops and markets are allowed to open till 4 p.m. Air-conditioned malls are closed. No wedding ceremonies will be permitted in the state till the 30th of June. Night curfew from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. every day will remain in place. All social, political, sports, entertainment, cultural and religious gatherings have been banned for now. The Punjab government has extended the restrictions due to coronavirus till the 15th of June with certain relaxations. Shops will be allowed to open till 6 p.m. and private offices are also allowed to function at 50% strength. However, night curfew will remain in force from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekdays, but the regular curfew will continue on Sundays. The state government had earlier extended COVID curbs till the 10th of June. The state government in Punjab has already announced measures for the gradual reopening of various activities as the number of active COVID-19 cases continue to decline. In Madhya Pradesh, the state government has further extended the ban on the movement of passenger buses to and from Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan till the 15th of June in a bid to curb the spread of COVID. The order to extend the ban, which was to end on Monday, was issued by Additional Transport Commissioner Arvind Saxena. The ban also covers vehicles that have All India tourist permits. In Kerala, the lockdown has been extended till the 16th of June, even as the state government has announced a complete lockdown on the 12th and the 13th of this month. Stores selling essential commodities, raw materials for industries including packaging, construction materials and banks will continue to function as per earlier orders. Previously, the state government had extended the lockdown till the 9th of June. In Puducherry, the lockdown has also been extended till the 14th of June. The Union Territory has already been under a curfew from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. every day. Meanwhile, shops of all categories, including liquor, are allowed to operate between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. from Tuesday. Meanwhile, Class 12 board exams have also been cancelled in the Union Territory in view of the prevailing COVID situation. The Puducherry State Executive Committee extended the lockdown by easing certain restrictions under the Disaster Management Act 2005 as the Union Territory is seeing a steep fall in the number of new coronavirus cases. In Bihar, 24 hours vaccination began from today at selected centers of the state. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said that vaccination will be taking place at 2 places in Patna and Sadar hospitals in each district. Online and on-spot registration will be available at the vaccination centers. People from the age group of 18 to 44 can book slots and register from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Over 1,12 lakh people, 27,000, have been vaccinated in the state so far. Of them, 20,25,000 are from the age group of 18 to 44. Meanwhile, the state's recovery rate has risen to over 98%, while the test positivity rate has declined to below 1% and is now 0.76%. The centre has issued SOPs for vaccination of persons undertaking international travel for either educational, employment opportunities or are a part of India's contingent for the Tokyo Olympics 2021. In a constant endeavour to streamline the vaccination process, the Union Health Ministry has written to states and union territories to facilitate vaccination of such persons who are undertaking international travel on a priority basis. The ministry has issued SOPs in this regard, which have been conveyed to the states and union territories. Further, they have been advised to immediately implement the SOPs. For persons travelling overseas, vaccination can also be availed through passport, which is one of the permissible ID documents as per the current guidelines. The passport number will be printed on the certificate. However, the details of the photo ID card used for vaccination will be printed in the vaccination certificate for beneficiaries whose passport was not used at the time of administration of the first dose. Further, the competent authority may issue another certificate linking the vaccination certificate with the passport number of the beneficiary. This facility will be available to those who need to undertake international travel for these specified purposes in the period up to 31st August 2021. A delegation of the Maharashtra government led by Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar will call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi today. Discussions are likely to center on Maratha and other backward classes reservation and relief for Cyclone Taukte. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar met Uddhav Thackeray last evening and talked about many issues including Maratha reservation. Apart from Chief Minister Thackeray, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar and Maratha Reservation Subcommittee President Ashok Chavan will also be present in the meeting with the Prime Minister. More than a month ago, the Supreme Court had quashed the law and ruled that the Maratha community cannot be declared as either educationally or socially backward. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar will launch a 2-month-long awareness campaign on the topic of plastic waste management and elimination of identified single-use plastics items on World Oceans Day today. In a tweet, the Union Minister said, and I quote, "Plastic litter has adverse impact not only on the terrestrial but aquatic ecosystems also." Today on World Oceans Day, we'll be launching a 2-month-long awareness campaign on the topic of plastic waste management and elimination of identified single-use plastic items. And India has been elected to the UN Economic and Social Council ECOSOC for the term 2022-24. The ECOSOC is at the center of the UN development system and brings together people and issues to promote collective action for a sustainable world. Earlier in April this year, India was elected to 3 key bodies of the UN ECOSOC. These bodies are the Commission on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice, Executive Board of UN Women and Executive Board of the World Food Programme. Ambassador of India to the United Nations, T.S. Tirumurthy, thanked all member states of the United Nations for their vote of confidence in India for the Economic and Social Council. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has announced summer vacations from 8th June to 25th of July for summer zone educational institutions of Jammu Division. All government educational institutions, including recognized private schools up to 12th standard, will observe summer vacations. Meanwhile, online interaction of teaching faculty with students will be held at least once in a week. Besides, the weekly programs and assessments will continue throughout the vacations to engage children in cultural activities and consolidation of curriculum, the syllabus already covered. And NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said leaders of the Chinese government do not share our values. He said this as he emerged from a meeting with US President Joe Biden on Monday. Stoltenberg said NATO agrees with Biden's approach to Russia, including the dialogue that will occur between the US President and Russian President Vladimir Putin at a meeting in Geneva.
China will soon have the biggest economy in the world. They already have the second largest defense budget, the biggest navy. They are investing heavily in advanced military capabilities, and they don't share our values. We see that in the way they crack down on democratic protests in Hong Kong, how they deal with minorities, the Uyghurs, and how they coerce neighbors and how they threaten Taiwan. So we need to stand up for the rules-based international order. And we need to work more closely with partners, including in the Asia Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, and Japan.
U.S. investigators have said that they recovered some $2.3 million worth of cryptocurrency ransomware paid by Colonial Pipeline Company in a crackdown on hackers who launched the most disruptive U.S. cyber attack on record. The attack had led to a shutdown of the key East Coast pipeline last month. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said that investigators have seized 63.7 bitcoins, now valued at about $2.3 million, paid by Colonial after last month's hack of its systems that led to massive shortages at U.S. East Coast gas stations.
The Department of Justice has found and recaptured the majority of the ransom Colonial paid to the dark side network in the wake of last month's ransomware attack. Today, we turned the tables on DarkSide by going after the entire ecosystem that fuels ransomware and digital extortion attacks, including criminal proceeds in the form of digital currency. We will continue to use all of our tools and all of our resources to increase the cost and the consequences of ransomware attacks and other cyber-enabled attacks.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris had robust talks with Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei on fighting corruption to deter immigration from Central America. Harris bluntly warned migrants to not come to the United States and said the U.S. will continue to enforce laws and secure its borders. Harris also said a U.S. anti-corruption task force would work with local prosecutors to punish corrupt actors in the region. Meanwhile, the Biden administration also unveiled details of another task force of prosecutors to combat human smuggling in Central America and Mexico. Israel's legislature is all set to vote on approving a new government, poised to unseat Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu within a week. In a formal announcement to Parliament, Knesset Speaker Yariv Levin said that President has been informed of a coalition that has been agreed to between left-wing, rightist, centrist and Arab parties. He also said that under a time frame set by law, a vote to approve it would be held by June 14th. Israel will head to its fifth elections in less than 2 years if the Lapid-Bennett government fails to secure a majority in parliament after an inconclusive ballot on the 23rd of March capped by their coalition agreement. And Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has vowed to double down on helping the poor after a midterm election. Sunday's elections have put Lopez Obrador's ruling coalition on course to win between 265 and 292 of the 500 lower house seats. Lopez Obrador has said he is committed to doing more for the poor and thanked voters for ensuring his political project would still have a majority in the lower house. However, the lower house losses are likely to curb his scope to pursue constitutional changes to bolster his drive to tighten state control of the energy sector. Mexicans turned out in large numbers. It's not seen in recent midterms, with a participation hitting 51%. The country also selected governors in 15 states and elected hundreds of mayors and local legislators. And in international news, let's take a look at COVID updates from across the world. As the world continues to battle the pandemic, so far more than 17 crore 43 lakh have tested positive. As many as 15 crore 76 lakh patients have recovered. The deadly virus has claimed the lives of 37 lakh 51,000 people worldwide. The United States continues to register the maximum number of COVID-19 cases in the world. More than 3 crore 42 lakh people have tested positive for coronavirus in the country, while the deaths so far due to the virus in the US have surged past 6 lakh 12,000. A report on the origins of COVID-19 by a U.S. government national lab has concluded that the hypothesis claiming the virus leaked from a Chinese lab in Wuhan is plausible and deserves further investigation. The report also said that the study was prepared in May 2020 by the Lawrence Livermore National Lab in California and was referred by the State Department when it conducted an inquiry into the pandemic's origins during the final months of the Trump administration. Lawrence Livermore's assessment drew on genomic analysis of the COVID-19 virus. President Joe Biden said last month he had ordered aides to find answers to the origin of the virus. Australia's Victoria state authorities say that plans to ease COVID restrictions in Melbourne remain on track as new cases fell on Tuesday. The lockdown was extended in Melbourne until June 10th, while some restrictions were relaxed in other regions in the state. Australia's second most populous state, Victoria, was plunged into a snap one-week hard lockdown on May 27th to contain a virus outbreak. 2 new locally acquired cases, both linked to existing clusters, were reported on Tuesday, down from 11 a day earlier. Australia has fared better than many other developed countries in containing COVID-19, largely with snap lockdowns, regional border restrictions and tough social distancing rules. It has reported just under 30,200 cases and 910 deaths since the pandemic began. And the schedule, moving on to other news stories in sports news, the schedule for the 3-match ODI series and 3-match T20 series between India and Sri Lanka has been confirmed. The 3 one-dayers will be played on July 13th, 16th and 18th, while the T20 series will commence on July 21st, and the next 2 matches will be played on July 23rd and the 25th. None of India's players who are a part of the travelling group for the World Test Championship final and the England Test series will be part of the Sri Lanka series. Former India skipper and current National Cricket Academy head Rahul Dravid will coach the Indian limited overs team that will play a 6-game series against Sri Lanka in July. BCCI is yet to announce the squad for the much anticipated series. In tennis, in the French Open, Novak Djokovic survived a major scare from teenager Lorenzo Musetti to reach the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam and stay on course to become the first man in over 50 years to win all 4 Grand Slams twice. The world number 1 dropped the first 2 sets, then comfortably levelled before the 19-year-old Italian retired in the final set. Djokovic will now face Italian 9th seed Matteo Berrettini next. Meanwhile, Rafael Nadal also made the last 8, beating Yannick Sinner 7-5, 6-3, 6-0. The 13-time French Open champion recovered from an opening set wobble in which he twice dropped serve to trail 5-3 to comfortably see off the Italian 18th seed and extend his winning run in Paris to 35 sets. In the women's singles, Coco Gauff's rise on the red clay continues with an impressive performance at Roland Garros. The 17-year-old American produced one of the best big match showings of her young career, defeating Ons Jabeur 6-3, 6-1 in just 53 minutes to reach her first Grand Slam quarter-final. In the last 8, Gauff will face Czech player Barbara Krejcikova, the world number 33, who halted the revival of Sloane Stephens with a thorough 6-2, 6-0 win. In another women's singles match, American Sofia Kenin lost in the 4th round to Maria Sakkari of Greece 6-1, 6-3. Kenin was the runner-up at Roland Garros last October and was seeking her 2nd major title. Sakkari, seeded 17th, advanced to her first career Grand Slam quarterfinal and earned her 6th win against the top 20 player this year. Kenin lost serve 6 times and had 32 unforced errors to 15 for the steady Sakkari. And India's campaign in the French Open came to an end as Rohan Bopanna and his Croatian partner Franco Skugor lost their men's doubles quarterfinals in Paris. The 41-year-old Bopanna and Skugor went down 5-7, 3-6 to the Spanish duo of Pablo Andujar and Pedro Martinez in a match that lasted 1 hour and 17 minutes. The unseeded Indo-Croat pairing had received a walkover in the pre-quarters. And in football, India defeated Bangladesh 2-0 in the FIFA World Cup qualifier thanks to goals from skipper Sunil Chhetri at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium in Doha. After a goalless first half, Chhetri struck in the 79th minute and stoppage time to give India the crucial 3 points. India are already out of contention for a berth in next year's World Cup but remain in the reckoning for a place in the AFC 2023 Asia Cup. Igor Stimacz's men now have 6 points from 7 matches in Group E and have jumped to 3rd place ahead of Afghanistan. It was also India's first World Cup qualifier win in 6 years. India have moved to 6 points from 7 matches, while Bangladesh are at 2 points from 7 matches. India next play Afghanistan in their last Group League match on the 15th of June. And the Indian women's archery team, led by former world number 1 Deepika Kumari, reached Paris on Monday to compete in the final Olympic qualification event on June 20th. The women's trio, also featuring Ankita Bhakat and Komalika Bari, will have to finish in the top 3 to make the last available berth for the Tokyo Olympics, which opens on the 23rd of July. While the men's team has secured the Olympic berth during the 2019 World Championships, India so far has an individual quota among women achieved by Deepika at the Continental Qualifiers in Bangkok 2 years ago. An Indian judoka, Sushila Devi, has provisionally qualified for the Tokyo Olympics, claiming the continental quota. But the confirmation will come only after the final list of qualifiers is released on the 28th of June. Sushila, who lost her first round at the World Judo Championship in Budapest on Sunday in the 48 kg category, currently has 989 points, which puts her in the 7th spot in the Asian list. The continental quotas are allotted based on a judoka's ranking in the region. Asia has 10 quota slots. Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju congratulated Sushila on her feat. And it's time to end this edition of the news. A quick reminder, stay home, stay safe as much as you can. Always remember the golden rule of never taking off your mask. Always wear a mask, maintain COVID appropriate behavior of social distancing. Meanwhile, stay home, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.